where you say pound something, and I'm just going to go and invent some tag. And this is the part that I think is really, really subtle, and I haven't heard anybody talk about, and this is why I would like to have sort of people open up to some conversation about these things. Because when you think about Twitter, it's definitely a broadcast medium. I speak into the microphone, and a whole bunch of people hear me. And depending upon how many followers I have, I'm in sort of this broadcast mode, right? Where if you think about sort of the utility out of this network, the more N there are listening to me, that's sort of the value of the system. This is sort of a Snarnoff's type model of broadcast value. And it's somewhat different than the types of relationships that you have, say, with email, which are much more telephone-like, right? We actually have these sort of back and forth bidirectional relationships with another person that we're sending the email to. And when you start thinking about the value, this is sort of your standard n-squared value network, which we also know as Metcalfe's law. This is the idea that the value of my fax machine is n-squared with the rest of the people that have the fax machine, or this is how the telephone came into being. And it's one of those things where the value increases dramatically as more telephones get added into the system. But there's an even more powerful network dynamic, which has been described, and that's this idea of a group network formation. And the idea is that if you have 3 people that could participate in this network, the real value of the network could be if you can think of how many different ways that you could actually carve up the number of people participating in the network. And so you start out and you say, well, there's a group that's all of them, and there's some subgroups that cover just 2. We have another subgroup that fits 2. And the value of this then becomes 2n. And this is a really